Welcome everybody, I am James, aka Criv Gaming, and welcome to CrivCast, a Pokemon podcast. This is going to be our first episode of what we're doing today. This is going to become a weekly series that we're going to try to put out there where I sit here and talk all things Pokemon. You're going to be hearing about things about as my point of view on Nuzlocke, my point of view on Pokemon as a whole, the anime, the trading card game, the video games, you name it. We're going to be talking about it here. We're going to be bringing in some guests, and we're going to be talking about a couple different things as we go through this journey. So, why are we doing this? You know what I mean? I think it's a great opportunity for me to really link with a lot of you out there and really kind of get your input, and kind of that way you can really know where I stand on a lot of these topics. Throughout this whole thing, we're going to have multiple guests that are stopping in. Other streamers, other Pokemon fanatics, you name it, they're likely going to be stopping by. And again, the end goal of this is to just really, continue to raise awareness of Pokemon, maybe introduce some things people hadn't seen before, as well as give a great platform for those who are looking to get into Pokemon to learn a little bit, as well as then be able to put what they learn into practice. So, who am I? My name is Criv. My name is James. I am 26 years old. Recently new onto the gaming stream, especially onto Twitch. I've been at it for about 3 months now. Mainly on this, you're going to find me playing Pokemon in a couple different ways. Whether it's Nuzlocke, whether it's single Pokemon challenges, versus challenges. We do some Pokemon card openings, you name it. You're going to find it. What else do I play outside of Pokemon, and kind of where did my gaming begin? My favorite game, at least that I've been playing for the longest, definitely sits with around the World of Warcraft side of things, the Blizzard series really as a whole. I remember the first game that I really ever played was Warcraft 3 and StarCraft. That's taken back a good ways, hitting up that multiplayer, just kind of really rolling through it. I've played World of Warcraft for the last 15, 16 years, essentially since World of Warcraft really came out. From that little 10-year-old, 11-year-old in World of Warcraft to now, live on Twitch playing some Pokemon, you know how I do. So, outside of gaming, I am a singer, I'm a dancer, I am very active in the CrossFit community, I am a regional sales manager for a Fortune 250 company. I really just kind of like to take a good little aspect on multiple different things. I play basketball, I play softball, a lot of other interests that I feel really make me well-rounded as we're going on this journey, as we're really pushing through. As we learn on Twitch, as we now learn on YouTube, and as I try to connect with a lot of the people out there who are looking to potentially get into Pokemon. So, why Pokemon? Why are we focusing on this game that has come out years ago? First off, a big part is the nostalgia factor, friends. We are really looking to continue that feeling that we all felt as kids, as we've got our first Game Boy, our first DS, our first wherever system you started on, and continue that feeling. It's Twitch and streaming and YouTube has really brought a new surge to these old games and this nostalgic feeling that people really like to feel. And personally, I love it. I can't get enough of it. I love playing Pokemon. I love getting these different challenges going, and I really love getting to re-push that feeling as well as share it with others. I am married, no kids at the moment. I have gotten my wife back into Pokemon a good little bit. And I'm looking, especially when the time comes that we have kids, to continue to welcome them into this amazing franchise that has really gotten all of us into video gaming. Why do I stream? I'm in sales. I feel like I have that personable personality. I really feel like I can connect with a lot of the users and the players, as I have a wide variety of interests, especially outside of gaming. So if I can share that, if I can bring a smile to a couple people's faces, then I'm doing my job. And I think any little thing I can do to give back, especially during the pandemic that we are still in, then that's enough. You know what I mean? If I can make one person's day better, then that's especially why we're doing that. So a little bit about me and where my gaming focus goes when it comes to Pokemon is definitely going to be centered around where it all started. I started playing Pokemon when it was red and blue and yellow. On the Game Boy, everybody remembers taking those long car trips. You had that little light that connected over, or you played under the street lamps as you were zipping through the highway as we were doing different road trips, that sort of thing. Everybody has that nostalgic feeling. And I think it's good to reflect on that, and I think it's good to really bring that to the forefront of what everybody's really looking for with this. So, during this journey, if anyone has any suggestions on things you would like to see through this podcast, please let me know. There's a Discord, there's a Twitter. We're going to get to those here a little bit later, especially as we sign out. But just know, I'm here for y'all. I want to talk about what you all want to talk about, and we're going to get to it. So, as far as some favorites for Criv, the number one question I always get, what's your favorite Pokemon, Criv? My top two Pokemon are Ampharos and Altaria. That also goes a little bit with my favorite gen, which is Gen 2. I know Altaria is Gen 3, but Ampharos still sits in that Gen 2 category. As I've talked to a lot of my followers, it actually turns out that their favorite Pokemon does not come from their favorite gen. So I feel like I'm a little bit of an anomaly out there that those two do happen to match, but it's just where it hit, and we're going to get into why all of that is. As far as a favorite typing, if I had to be a gym leader or anything like that, we would definitely hit the poison typing. I love the dual types. I love how we are going to be able to push the different typings through there, and we could really build teams around that, which is going to be a future topic that we're going to talk about. So, let's get into breaking down. We're going to go with three kind of different categories here as we're talking through my view on the video game as a whole and kind of how I feel like it meshed in with everything else, where my favorites lie in that generation. And then we're going to get to the trading card game, and then we are going to get to the anime. Not potentially in that order, but that's kind of where some of the things that we're definitely going to be hitting on. So, we got to start where it all started out, and that is Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. This was the first generation that I played. Of course, I was young then, so of course I was instantly drawn to Charizard. Charizard is still one of my favorite Pokemon, but from that generation, you cannot fight that one. Just an overall tank. We all did the runs where people do solo Pokemon challenges now. We were all doing it as kids when the only Pokemon you leveled up was your starter. You can lie to me about it, but I know you're lying. We have all, in our first run or first couple runs at Pokemon, that Charizard was level 50 before you got to like the 4th gym. We all know it. We all felt it because that was the Pokemon that you wanted to push. This brings up a big nostalgia with me because it was the game that I was able to bring with my play and kind of interact with my brother on a video gaming level. You know, I was the little brother in the family. I was always wanting to do what my older brother did. He had Pokemon Blue. I had Pokemon Red. He, of course, had to have Red because it had the Charizard on it. But, you know, it's where really my journey with Pokemon started, and I loved it. That Game Boy did not leave my hands more than... I mean, it never left my hand at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It was something that we were always playing between that and the N64. And really, when I talk with my viewers, even some of the younger viewers, 50% of them actually started here. You know what I mean? And it's insane to think, especially as I'm getting older and linking up with a lot of these other gamers, it is awesome to know that a lot of our roots come from the same place. So Gen 1 is where it's at. There were so many bugs. Yes, if you had a Persian with Slash, you could pretty much sweep any team. The AI was horrendous. They would spam Reflect, Recover. Everybody knows Blaine uses super potions or hyper potions when his Pokemon are full health. It doesn't make sense, but we didn't care because that's what we had. So, Pokemon Red and Blue, solid games. Yellow was mind-blowing because it let you get all 3 starters. And even though at that time, we all started with Pikachu and not a single person picked up a Mankey to go take on Brock. We just didn't do it. Instead, we leveled that Pikachu till Quick Attack would get us through that gym. But Yellow, overall solid game. Bringing in the introduction of actually being able to get all 3 starters was great for those people who weren't lucky enough to have somebody to trade with. Now, even those of us that did have somebody to trade with, remember, you got 1 save file. So, if you were the unlucky person, you had to restart your game 3 or 4 times, so your brother could have all of those different Pokemon that he wanted. Again, sometimes he would trade them back, sometimes he would give me my trade evolutions, but we all know how that definitely goes as we work through it. So, that's my view on Red, Blue, Yellow. That's some little history as far as where we go. Then we step into Silver and Gold and Crystal. This is by far my favorite generation, and it does bring back the biggest nostalgia factor. Couple reasons on this. Number one, this is the first time that I played Pokemon with friends. Pokemon Red and Blue was really just the family setting, it was the argument setting, and yet Pokemon Silver and Gold, as well as Crystal, brought in the first time that I was able to interact with friends, ripped them off in some awesome trades that made them restart their games, did the things that my brother did to me, where I learned to really, kind of push through it and improve my setting there. It also was amazing that you realistically were getting 2 games in one. Now I know, as you go back into Kanto, the gym leaders are real easy, especially as you're playing through it. But it gave you both games in one. You didn't need red, blue, yellow anymore because you had silver, gold, and crystal. At the end of the day, it's how you worked through it. And it's how you know what I mean? It gave you a different aspect and let you play through multiple of those games. Personally, I had silver and crystal. Catching the legendary dogs, Nintendo decided to put this infuriating mechanic in that the legendary dogs would continue to run from you. Now, mind you, we didn't have the internet for guides back then. We did, but it was very minimal. So knowing that you had to literally go you could bait the routes, that wasn't a thing. We literally trekked across the entire region trying to catch those legendary dogs, only to pray that our sleep powder would hit. God forbid you missed, because then guess what? Your 20-minute journey just picked back up. Ultra Balls weren't really that effective. You had to hit them to red health, and you had to get them put to sleep. So, favorite Pokemon from this gen definitely goes with Ampharos. Again, Mareep the sheep is a god. Mareep was a solid electric type that actually evolved quickly going into Ampharos. And it was kind of different. It was kind of different from what was normally out there. Could be complete glass cannon at the end of the day, but still, overall, a solid Pokemon. So, Pokemon Crystal, that's where we really played with friends, and that's really where we kind of got that feeling from. That took us into Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. For me, this is where the competitive side of Pokemon came through. This is where we really pushed catching every Pokemon in the game. Even the previous games. This is where I completed my first entire Pokedex without any help from the internet. We all linked up our Game Boys. We had 3 Game Boys, 2 DSs, trying to do anything we could to get all of the Pokemon in that game. Now, definitely one of the more difficult games compared to Silver and Gold and Crystal, in my opinion. Not the same as everybody else's, but it hit a little bit differently. It felt like it was a little more difficult to push through. Double battles became a lot more prevalent. They just introduced a lot of new aspects into the game that we didn't really have previously. And I feel like it definitely is a solid game. I never got to play Emerald until after the fact, but Ruby and Silver definitely kind of helped push Pokemon, I think, to the next level. The people who started with Red, Blue, and Yellow as children were starting to get a little bit older. Now, I'm not saying teenage. I'm not saying 18 plus. I'm saying those 8-year-olds were now 12, 13. They could kind of play the game a little bit differently, and the franchise was really able to take off. Again, Altaria here is definitely the favorite Pokemon. I feel like introducing a Dragon-type Pokemon early into the game. Now, again, you can say, but what about Dratini? But what about... They were not easy to get. Does anybody remember grinding up a Dratini from the Game Corner in Celadon City? Not fun. And generally, you were not going to have a Dragonite before you hit that Elite Four. Maybe you did. Maybe you were an overachiever. But remember, we only leveled Charizards at this time. There was no Dratini. There was no Dragonite. It is what it is. So, Altaria was definitely the first lower-level Dragon-type Pokemon that we were able to get. So that's why I think that one really hit hard and held true as we're going into this gen. And again, I know a lot of people are bringing up remakes, that sort of thing. I'm going to be honest. Until now, I did not play the remakes growing up. I didn't need to. I had the actual thing. Now, was Fire Red a vast improvement over Pokemon Red? Absolutely. They added abilities. They fixed these stupid AI moves. But I didn't want that as a kid. I didn't want this fix. I wanted to have to slog through the difficulty of playing each and every one of these games differently to get where I needed to be. So, Ruby and Sapphire definitely pushed that competitive side. Now, I'm actually going to skip the next gen because until recently, I didn't play that one. I'm coming back to it here after we talk about Black and White. But in the time, I did not play Diamond and Pearl. But this one is significant for a different reason. Black and White took me into high school. Again, that came out in about the 2010 time. When we were all too cool for school, I was definitely one of those kids back there playing Pokemon. Now, mind you, I played basketball in high school. I did show choir. I was still in a lot of different groups. And I still didn't want to admit to some people that I was playing Pokemon as a high schooler. But Black and White was a solid game. Luxray, I don't know why, just always stuck out. Shinx was a damn cute Pokemon. You can disagree with me, but you're wrong. But Luxray just overall, I feel like strong Pokemon, fast Pokemon really could help carry you through. Now, Black and White was also, I think, one of the most frustrating games. A lot of rival fights, which we all kind of... I don't love the rival fights, but they make a good point. This is the point where the bad team, I don't even remember what it is in Black. Was it Galactic in Black and White? Whatever. It got old. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, hey, we have Team Rocket, Silver and Gold and Crystal. You know what I mean? We're working through these different evil teams until we get to Black and White. It's just like, guys, come on. They're doing the same stuff that every other evil team did. We got to change some stuff up. Black and White 2 is, unfortunately, growing up where my Pokemon journey ended. I was not overly impressed with the game, but it was what it was. You know what I mean? I got to play with some friends in high school as we're going through it, but it didn't make me want to continue playing Pokemon. From that point, we went dark. Pokemon was gone. Pokemon was out of sight. Pokemon was out of mind. Until about 2 years ago. Now, getting back into Pokemon, we picked up Diamond and Pearl. That was the first game I went to GameStop and was like, you know what? I want to play some Pokemon. I didn't know about emulators at that point. I thought they were going to be super difficult to build out and kind of work through there. But Diamond and Pearl is the game that we got back into. Now, and I apologize, I completely mixed up. I'm going off notes here. My bad. Black and White, Stoutland was the Pokemon. Stoutland was a Pokemon I always had. I love dogs. The fact that they could have a badass dog in the game, and again, I know I'm going to get demonetized instantly for cussing or get the mature filters, but hey, it is what we are. Stoutland was a solid Pokemon in Black and White. Luxray was the Diamond and Pearl Pokemon that first caught my attention. Again, you get a Shinx from a low level, definitely easy to build up, definitely easy to work out. But Diamond and Pearl is my re-entry into Pokemon as an adult. We definitely felt the nostalgia factor come back. Again, I didn't know about emulators. I thought they'd be difficult to put up, but, you know, clearly now we know they're not. But Diamond and Pearl is definitely what brought me back into this. Now, X and Y and Sun and Moon. I still haven't played these games. I am currently playing through Pokemon Y right now, as many of you know, on stream in a Soul Link. But I'm not in love with them. There's definitely a different type of feeling playing through some of these games, especially X and Y. I don't know. I think they're good. You know what I mean? For their time, the graphics were what they were. You know, Pokemon was finally getting out of this two-dimensional world and really pushing into something a little bit different. Now, maybe my mind will change as I go through them. But my experience is not in those couple later gens. Again, maybe I'll learn to love it. We're going to find out. And I think that's one of the things that I've loved about getting to start streaming this is I'm starting to get into some of these other games than I originally would have thought. Again, we're doing Nuzlocke, which are hitting a lot of these games completely differently. They're making me play the games a little bit differently. You can't just brunt through them. Oh no, you can't just over-level. You know what I mean? It's putting a different aspect on it. So, And again, I know Sun and Moon doesn't have the gyms. It's something that we're definitely gonna learn to work through. And then comes the Sword and Shield. This one hits a little bit differently. There are a lot of people who hate Sword and Shield, but I like Sword and Shield for a couple of key reasons. Number one, Pokemon with Pokemon Go, with the Let's Go series, with Switch, etc., Pokemon is coming back into the limelight. Pokemon Sword and Shield was their opportunity to create a new world in a different point of view, welcome a new generation of viewers. People who are Pokemon fanatics for the most part say they hate Sword and Shield. They think it was awful, they hate that there's DLCs, etc. If we are talking about building Pokemon as a community and welcoming a new generation into the game, Pokemon Sword and Shield was perfect. It's not difficult. Let's call it what it is. The EXP share makes leveling real easy. You can catch pretty much whatever Pokemon you want, and if you can't, you can easily get it through an online trade. But it is welcoming a new generation, and it is setting the groundwork for them to continue to expand the open world concept. This is also the first Pokemon generation that I actually shared with my wife. She has played Pokemon in the past, but this is the first one because of the Switch. Because of the way that the game played, I was able to get her involved and welcome her back into something that I feel like had a big part in my childhood, as well as introduced a game that she could play. It's not difficult. It's not hard to get around, and it is very linear. You go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. Dynamaxing changes things a little bit, but it's not awful. Now, personally, if I'm doing competitive, I hate Dynamaxing. I despise it. I think it can completely throw games, and I think that's kind of the point. I think the same thing with Mega Evolutions. Although I have not used them in the games, I'm not a huge fan of them. Especially because all Pokemon are not created equal in that field with it. If everybody's Dynamaxing was a straight percentage, and my Bug type could kind of stand up against my Fire type, not there. But alas, it is what it is. But Sword and Shield, I think they had a great direction on the game. Now, I think for the future generations that they're going to come out with, there's potential that they can continue to improve upon it and make it better. But this was their first stab at it. Overall, are there parts for improvement? Absolutely, but the game is solid. I think the job that they were trying to do was done. Are the DLCs money grabs? Yeah, a little bit. Now, if you want to be like everybody else and like me, wait till they go on sale for Black Friday, and you can honestly, I believe right now, buy Sword and Shield and the 2 DLCs for like $49.99. It is what it is. You might not get first shot with it, but it's just a little bit different. Now, favorite Pokemon Sword and Shield is Centiskorch. Bug Pokemon are underrated. I know most trainers go in there and they're like, a Butterfree, a Centiskorch, a Galvantula. Come on, the bug Pokemon can be strong. Don't sleep on them. Now, that's the mainline series games. 2 other main games shaped how I went about my Pokemon journey. Number 1 was Pokemon Snap, and this is a feed for a new game that's coming. Everybody knows Pokemon Snap is getting reintroduced into the Pokemon world. Does it require an ounce of skill? Not at all. Not in the slightest. But as a child, playing Pokemon Snap introduced Pokemon into their world. There was no Wild Zone. This was our Pokemon Wild Zone. You couldn't catch them, but you could see and kind of get a bunch of different feels for a lot of these Pokemon in the awesome game that you were seeing originally. If you are looking for a competitive landscape, don't play Pokemon Snap. If that is what you want, you are going to hate it and you're going to regret playing it. But if you want to take in Pokemon in their environment, really be able to learn a lot about a lot of these Pokemon, Pokemon Snap is amazing for what you can do with it. And I'm not going to come off of that. Pokemon Snap on the Switch is probably going to be a great game if you take it for what it is. If you are expecting a different aspect and fighting trainers and stuff like that, you're setting yourself up for failure. Don't play it. If you got kids, or if you want that nostalgia factor of just feeling And being back inside that feeling, Pokemon Snap will be amazing for you. And it was amazing for me as a kid. And again, it is awesome that they're bringing it back, because for Pokemon to continue to live on, we need this other generation to continue to start playing. It will die with our generation if we do not continue to have accessible ways to play Pokemon. You have Pokemon Go on the phone, which I'm not crazy about. I literally almost hit somebody with my car who was playing it. Long story, but again, play it safely, please, if you're going to play it. You have Pokemon Masters EX series on the iPhone now. Again, that's a little bit different battle style. They are coming out with new forms of Pokemon. Embrace it. Understand it is necessary for this generation to continue going. Now, let's talk about Pokemon Colosseum. N64. Solid game. It brought Pokemon to real life, the aspect of battling Pokemon to real life. And as a kid, it was awesome. I have not played it as an adult, but I 100% plan to. It brought these battling that we previously loved seeing in our little two-dimensional world to a completely different aspect. Now, you look at the graphics now, they're trash. You look at the graphics back then, it was awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it was completely different. You can only compare what you're comparing to of the time. People are going to go back and say Pokemon Colosseum was garbage. The graphics were awful. You're wrong. They were amazing for their time. Again, take it for what it is. I know if the games that they have now, Pokemon Colosseum is essentially the layout of Pokemon Sword and Shield in that battle style. But that is what we had for it. Now, from the video gaming side of things, that's where Criv lands. Those are some hot takes, and that everybody's not going to agree with my opinion on it. But second gen is still the best gen in my assumption. Again, Ampharos and Altaria, solid Pokemon. If I could build a team, I'd probably have them on it. And we will eventually build one of Criv's no type restrictions gym leader team. That's for another stream, or that's for another podcast. But at the end of the day, this is what we got with it. So that's the video games. Let's go into a completely different aspect. The trading cards. Many of you are seeing the trading card game right now completely explode. You have some big YouTubers that are out there spending a lot of money on Pokemon cards. Now, for the average collector, not gonna lie, not great. Because these packs now have gone from $3.99 to like $12 for some of this stuff. And you guys know, if you want to do it, you're going to have to pay for it. Again, everybody still to this day, we were chasing Charizards back in the day. We are still chasing Charizards today. I still love it. You know what I mean? Many of you see me opening Pokemon card packs on my stream. It's something I've been excited to get back into because it definitely rolls a different way. Now, am I going to go after the $250,000 Charizard? No, I don't have that kind of money. And honestly, I think people who pay for that are a little bit out of their minds. Now, you might want that one awesome card. That's great. If you are collecting Pokemon cards strictly for money, you are stripping the reason and the joy of collecting Pokemon cards out of it. You might not agree with me. You might hate it and say, but I'm going to have the most expensive Pokemon card collection in the world. That's great. Personally, I still get excited pulling a GX card that is worth probably 25 cents. Just as excited as I do probably about pulling a Pokemon card that's worth a lot of money. Is it nice to know where your set lies in that just for personal knowledge? Sure, that's fine. But if you're saying, I'm only buying this pack because it has a $500 Charizard in it, come on. That's not why you collected cards in the first place. Talking with a lot of my viewers, a lot of them collected cards. A lot of it went 50-50 on a lot of these polls that I did out there. But 50% of them collected cards back in the day, and 50% of them have gotten back into collecting cards now. Now, as far as my journey went with this, I had a complete master set of base set, jungle, and fossil. I sold each master set for $70 a piece in a garage sale. I thought I was doing great. I made $210 as a child selling my Pokemon cards. Now, who knows where that set would have gone over time? We know where those master sets would be priced now. But what are the chances that small pieces of cardboard would be worth thousands of dollars today? Am I upset about it? No, because that $210 brought me joy. And honestly, the old guys, because there were two 30-year-olds that bought them, probably are making a lot of money off that set right now if they haven't already. Who knows where those cards are? A complete set. Now, mind you, those cards had been loved. I did not collect cards, put them in a sleeve, never touched them. Those had sat at the bottom of my backpack. The good cards had the hard cases, but they still sat at the bottom of my backpack. It is what it is. They were loved. They were played. They were used. Now, how many of you actually remember how to play Pokemon, the trading card game? Probably not a lot of you, because even I can't still figure it out. But we loved it. We traded cards. A lot of us made dumb trades. You hear all the time where people are like, I wanted that Rhyhorn, so I gave him my Charizard. You know what? That's the hill you die on, by all means. You were probably 8 to 10 years old. Don't feel bad about it. As far as the collection went, I continued to collect cards through Skyridge. Again, a lot of those cards are gone. Actually, all of the cards are gone. And the good ones my brother took because we just threw our sets together and who knows whose was whose. And that's fine. We didn't have anything that's like, oh my God, this card is worth X amount of money. He wants to use them to show his kids one day, and that is perfect. That is the point of this. Now, I remember the way you earned cards as a kid in my household is you did chores. Every week, we would have our chore list. We'd get them for holidays and stuff like that. And again, if mom was feeling generous when we go to the store. Hang on. Oh, that is actually in the playlist. I apologize. That noise freaked me out. New time using this playlist. Apologize, friends. But anyway, again, we all remember collecting these cards. My way to get them was through chores. Mom would buy booster boxes of these to pay us to do our chores. I think we get 3 packs a week, maybe 2, as far as just keeping the house clean, that sort of thing. Do you know how much these sealed booster boxes would have gone for now? I don't even want to think about it. It's insane. But again, who would have expected Pokemon cards would have come back? Now, why do I collect them as an adult now? I love the nostalgia feeling. You know what I mean? I am 26 years old, and I still get nervous opening a pack of Pokemon cards because you don't know what you're going to get in there, and it could be awesome. It could suck. Most of them do. The pull rates on them are not great right now. You get some sets, the pull rate is bad. But it is what it is. But it is good to see that people are making Pokemon accessible again. You are remembering the nostalgia of opening these cards, building these decks that made no sense. Again, everything is min-maxed now with the internet. You know what I mean? How can I make the best deck to fight against this, that, or the other? Back in the day, we built sets because we thought it looked cool. We built decks because we were like, I'm going to use this Pokemon and this. It was not strategically. We were awful. Honestly, the worst Pokemon card player today probably could beat some of the best back then. It was just different. But it's good to see that people are coming back to it. I love to see that people are getting their kids back involved with it. I can't wait one day to share that with one of my children. I think it's amazing. I'll buy a booster box and give it to them for doing chores. Why not? I think it builds character and it teaches them to value something. So I think it's great. Pokemon trading card game gets a thumbs up. Criv absolutely recommends. And again, a little holler from chat here, Orange Coconut. I see you, and I agree. We all had the one card that we would build our deck around just because. We didn't have a choice. We had to use that card. It was the only card, and if you lost it, you died. You were done. You lost the game. Now, let's go from... We've talked about video games. We've talked about the trading card game. Let's take my take on the anime. We're not going to dive too deep into this. I probably watched the first 2 seasons of it. Saturday morning cartoons, it's our jam. Favorite episodes. If you pick anything other than these, you're wrong. You're not wrong, but they're my favorites. Here comes the Squirtle Squad. Number 1, that pack of Squirtles was the biggest pack of badasses out there. If you disagree, you're wrong. We all remember the Squirtle Squad. Everybody who watches Pokemon remembers that. And how much of a pain in the butt they were to Ash on his journey. Again, I love it. I loved the Squirtle Squad. The anime as a whole definitely had holes in it. No questions asked. The battle style was different in the anime than it is in the game. It confused a lot of people, but that is also, the anime is the reason that some of us took Caterpies into the fight against Brock. Or some of us took dramatically weaker Pokemon into some of these other battles. It's because of the anime. The anime made you believe that these weak Pokemon could still beat some stronger Pokemon. Is it true? In the game, absolutely not. You go in with a Caterpie, you're probably going to lose. Unless it's level 100, different story. But it allowed us to believe that we could put these actions into the actual video game itself. Now, second favorite episode. Heart-wrenching as a child. Why did they even let us see this? Honestly, today it would probably not make it into television because of the separation. Bye-bye, Butterfree. I'm going to cry thinking about it. Ash having to let his Butterfree go. We feel it. We feel you. But one of the best episodes out there. They transcended just having it be an anime about beating up other Pokemon and battling. They tried to put a story behind it. And Snatty, to answer your question, no, a Pikachu would never be able to Thundershock an Onix. It still hurts. It does. We still feel it today. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with the anime. I have not seen the newer anime side of it. I have not seen the newer episodes. I have not seen pretty much past the Johto League. I'm pretty sure that's where my knowledge stops on the anime. But we all remember it, and eventually we're going to come around and we are going to debunk a lot of the myths and a lot of what was grown through the anime. But it was also an ability for Pokemon to make it to a lot of the public. Again, what it was, WB Kids, I think, is where Pokemon was playing. We all need that throwback to WB Kids. We all watch Pokemon, then we watch Yu-Gi-Oh! And we go through our Saturday morning cartoons that way. So, there's not a lot of knowledge here on the anime. I'm going to be honest. But this is Criv's hot take on what we are doing with Pokemon. I wanted to give you all an introduction onto who I am. You know what my approach is to a lot of this Pokemon and where I came from with Pokemon. And I think we've really hit that just talking today. Where do we go with this? From a streaming perspective, we're going to be still hitting up these single Pokemon runs. We're going to be hitting up ROM hacks. We're going to touch onto some of these alternative games, Mystery Dungeon. Again, when the new Pokemon Snap comes out, you're going to see it. We're going to continue to do versus challenges, whether it's through Showdown or whether we're paying homage to Quick GG and Chill and Play. Again, homage on the single Pokemon challenges to Madrybread as well. We're going to continue to expand into different Nuzlocks, and we're going to continue to hit on all things Pokemon. As far as the podcast goes, we have some great ideas for how we're going to continue to build this. You're going to get my point of view on if we had to build a team of each type of Pokemon. You're going to get my view on some single Pokemon. We're going to visit the sprites that never made it into the game or the Pokemon that were canceled. Again, today was not all-encompassing Pokemon, but today is going to be about setting the foundation for where we can go with this. If you have ideas, please reach out. And we're going to hit you with a shameless plug here. Follow me on Twitch, Twitch TV, twitch.tv/CrivGaming166, or on Twitter @CrivGaming166. Hit me up with what you want to hear me talk about. Maybe some guests you'd like me to have, or other streamers that you see that you think might be cool to collab on with something like this. I think it is a great opportunity to continue to bring Pokemon back to the forefront and reach this generation who is living on YouTube and or living through Twitch. So guys, as always, we're going to do a little sign off here, and I will see you in the next podcast. My name is Criv Gaming. Keep spreading the love. Do what you can to make the world a better place. And I will see you in the next stream or podcast. Make it a great one, everybody.